Well, hi there folks, it's Matt Hayson here looking at this week's property market, and there's plenty going down, so let's get into it. And one of the new emerging trend lines that we're already seeing to kick off the year is that new listing levels are surging forward, and the latest SQM research data would back that up as well, suggesting that new listings are 20.7% higher in Sydney than the corresponding period last year. Now, as many people would know, supply and demand is a very much key metric around the overall performance of the property market, and conversations with buyers already are suggesting that they're seeing the best level of supply that they've seen in well over 18 months. On the flip side of that, sellers are going to need to be acutely aware of this increase in competition and appropriately price their property in order to attract and engage buyer interaction. Now, we're only early into the new year, but already the hyperbolic headlines coming through the mainstream media are thick and fast. This one written in the AFR pointing out that it was an absolute cracker for weekend auctions last week. But when we look at the latest SQM research data, it would suggest that last week, across Sydney particularly, there were over 760 properties that went under the hammer for a clearance rate at just under 55%. So that wouldn't suggest to me that it was an absolute cracker. When we look at the corresponding period in 2023, there were just under 500 auctions, and the auction clearance rate was only marginally below at just over 52%. So not sure that that headline is really matching the reality. And then finally this week, it was the first RBA board meeting for the year, and the first meeting for the new governor, Michelle Bullock, who has poured cold water over the potential of an imminent cash rate cut. Now, as expected, the cash rate was left on hold at 4.35%, but many financial commentators and banks and even the futures market had got a bit excited last week when inflation data came in less than anticipated, and many had started to predict that the first cash rate cut would be in May. However, Michelle Bullock has come out and suggested that they're not convinced they've done a good job, but they're not convinced they've done enough to bring inflation back into the target band of 2 to 3%. Michelle Bullock has also left the door open for a potential cash rate increase, which we'd find very surprising, but potentially the rhetoric from the RBA is now a little bit more conservative as they start to rebuild a bit of credibility around their forecasting after it was very erratic over the last several years, to say the least. So folks, that's what's going down in and around the property market this week. As I said, there's a lot of new property coming onto the market and some wonderful homes to see. Our entire team looks forward to seeing you out and about. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next week.